Welcome to my Study with a Chess Buddy series. Today we are looking at the book Build Up Your Chess, The Fundamentals 1 by Yusupov. And quick note about analysis. So for the position on the screen, without moving any of your pieces, or if you want, you can take this position and set it up on a board. It's strongly encouraged that you write down your concrete lines of analysis and then pick your winning line from those. And the reason to do this is because if you don't write them down, a lot of the time we kind of fool ourselves into thinking we considered something when in fact we didn't really deeply think about it. So what I'm going to do is pause the video for myself to do the same sort of analysis. It's white to move, and this is diagram 1-1 in the book if you own a copy. And we will return in a moment, and I'm estimating I'll probably spend 10 or 15 minutes, and give yourself a little bit of time as well because these problems are not particularly easy. Okay, so I'm back, and hopefully you were able to find some lines of analysis that maybe drew some conclusions as well. So we're going to take a look at the couple that I came up with, and the longer the line, in this case, this is the winning line because from Black's perspective, the longer they were able to stay alive, the stronger the opposition. But we'll first look at the first line I came up with. So Rook D8 check. The king has to move, and so when I was looking at this position, if the king starts wandering off in this territory, well, this square is covered by the pawn, and so I was like, I don't see any value in trapping yourself in a corner, so I started walking the king this direction. And then this was the next move. King can't go, here or here because they're covered by the pawn, so king goes down. And then I thought, well, here's another way to throw in an extra check, and now the squares like this are basically controlled by the rooks and the pawn, so the king has to actually go out. So king goes that way, and I thought, all right, well, what if I do this? So the king has two choices now because these files are both covered. So the king can either run back that way, maybe trying to go for some sort of perpetual, or run this way. So I considered this option first. So king moves here. And if that happens, then the rook can come down and it's now supported by its own pawn, and this is checkmate. So that's kind of an interesting combination right there. But considering Black could run further away from the rooks, that one has to be calculated. And so in this case, if Black runs this way, then I thought, okay, well, Rook d4 check is really strong because it's checking the king. This whole file is protected, and this pawn is protected by the rook, so the king can't take it. So the rook has to go downward, and it can't go to that square because it's protected by the pawn. So the only choice is to go here. And now I'm looking at the fact that it's one rank away from the white king, and so now you could bring this rook down. And we have checkmate. So this was just on the edge of my ability to hold this in my mind long enough to be able to confirm it, but I would anticipate, and this does match the book's answer, this particular line. I would imagine I will be getting many questions wrong in the future. And so don't feel bad for yourself as well if you happen to not get this line. And if you did, congratulations. That is a excellent effort at getting a difficult problem correct. If you didn't, think about where there are refutations in your line, and you're welcome to post these in the comments on the video. But if you don't and you just want to analyze on your own, play out the moves, and at each single move, think about whether there is any sort of counterplay or a counterattack or an opportunity to breathe that Black has. Because in these lines, as you could see, yes, if Black was given the opportunity, they could start throwing in checks perhaps, and the king would run away, and then the other rook would prepare for some sort of check like this, and that would be a lot more difficult to calculate. but since we never gave black the opportunity, it created a lot more opportunity for us to consider just a forcing line and be able to hold it in our mind the whole time. I hope you enjoyed this problem, and we will continue working through this book in our next video. See you then.